Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, and this is a video I've wanted to do for a while, and it's about reviewing video games, and what I think a lot of people don't understand, and what a few people who do videos kind of like me, and do review videos of what they do wrong and why it kind of annoys me. So I thought I would start with how I review video games. If I'm reviewing them for my website, so if I get free games, for instance, I haven't got it with me, for instance, you know, promo copy. So if a company sends me a promo copy, I'll review it on my website, I'll write it up, and that's a proper review. The videos that I do when I review games, like when I'm going to talk about Sleeping Dogs soon, I didn't get a promo copy, so I don't write a full review because, quite frankly, I couldn't be bothered. But that's just more of my thoughts. When I write it down, that's a proper review. So what I like to do in those reviews is, it seems that there's two different thoughts on how to review a product or whatever. I think that a lot of people think it's all opinion. And I don't think it should be all opinion. And I'll tell you why. Because I fucking despise real-time strategy games. I hate them with a passion. So if you were to give me StarCraft 2 and say, hey Kieran, review this, I'd fucking shit on it because I simply do not like that style of game. And I think that that would be a terrible thing to bring to a review. For instance, I don't like RPG games. RPGs have to be a certain thing, otherwise I do not like them. I did not like Kingdoms of Amalur, but I still gave it an 8, because I appreciated that it was still a good game. If you can understand what I mean here, it's kind of like having an opinion on something and then having like a factual kind of... It's hard to explain, so I hope you understand what I mean. You cannot like something, but as a game or as a movie or as a whatever, it is still good. Like the gameplay is there, the story's there. Maybe you just don't like that kind of game. And I think that it would be wrong to give a game, you know, a bad score or just shit all over it because you simply don't like the premise of it. But I think, again, in a review there should be a lot of opinion. But I don't think that it should be... I think it should be half and half between, you know what, this mechanic was good, but I really didn't like the way this happened. It's hard to explain. Aggregate scores is something I also don't like. A lot of websites do it. For instance, when you're scoring something, say there's 3 different things. So you give a game... What can we go? Gameplay, story, graphics. So you give the gameplay an 8, graphics gets a 7, story gets a 7, so 7 and 7 is 14, plus 8 is 20, God, come on, 22. So 22 divided by 3, we'll just say 7 for this, because I couldn't be bothered working it out, so we'll say 7. So 7 is your aggregate score, and I hate that, because I don't think that one aspect of a game can take away or boost it up that much, if you understand what I mean. So I think that scoring it, I hate scoring video games to begin with, I hate it. But, you know, that's the industry standard because everyone, we all do it. Say IGN or even me, for instance, if you care about what I have to say, or game trailers or whatever, or GameSpot. Oh, they've just reviewed Max Payne 3. Here's this gigantic wall of text. Fuck you, scroll all the way down, 9 out of 10, okay, we'll go out and buy it. So I think that scoring games is a big thing to do, because people will listen to that much more than they will ever bother to read. But I hate aggregate scoring. I hate it. Hate it. What else did I write down here? Oh, multiplayer. A lot of people said in my Spec Ops: The Line review that I didn't mention the multiplayer. I hate reviewing multiplayer for 2 reasons. One, because normally they're a tacked on piece of shit that would actually damage the review of the game. And second, I still see multiplayer as an add-on, if that kind of makes sense. When I review a game, I like to review the single player, and I'll go into the multiplayer if I find it relevant. Spec Ops, the multiplayer was crap. I mentioned the multiplayer in my Max Payne 3 review. When I review Call of Duty, multiplayer will probably take up half of it. It's kind of, depending on what game you're playing. It was clear that in Spec Ops and a lot of other games, that the multiplayer is just an add-on, and you really shouldn't bother even playing it. And even the developer said that you shouldn't bother playing the multiplayer in Spec Ops, but that's just a... That's just a point. Also, when I'm playing a game, I used to think that it was absolutely vital to finish a video game before you review it, and I still think that's the case. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just can't, especially if you get a promo copy or a review game. You kind of, how do I word this? You want it, because they've given you a game, you kind of want to review it within a certain time frame. You don't want to take your time with it. So for me, for instance, when I reviewed Darkness, I called it Darkness again, didn't I? Darksiders 2, I didn't actually finish. I haven't finished the game yet, I'll be honest. And I understand that hurts my credibility, and there could be something at the end of the game that ruins everything that came before it. But I think that it's important, how do I word this? That if you get the game for free, you kind of do it on their time. You know, you're on their time then. And I think that makes sense. If you buy a game, I'll say it, people who buy video games and put review videos on the internet have the best opinion of anyone. Guaranteed. Because people who do this for a living reviewing video games, I don't. I wouldn't like to either. I don't think I could. I think it would take the fun out of video games, to be honest. People who do it for a living, they get perks and bonuses and free alcohol and free stuff, and does it entice people? Of course it does. And that's why I think a lot of people don't like... If you look at EA, for instance, if you're a video game journalist and you know people at EA and you go to these events and you know them, EA are the best company ever because they're amazing people. But if you're on the outside, so if you're just a regular person playing video games, you hate them because they do all this bullshit. And that's why the people at IGN and whatever can't formulate it. Well, why do people hate EA for? They can't figure it out, and that's why, because they are on the inside, and it's a completely different world. Completely different. Because I've been there. But yeah, I think finishing games are still pretty vital. But sometimes sometimes you just can't do it. Sometimes you just can't do it, because I don't do this for a living, so I haven't got the time to... I think I got Darksiders 2 maybe a week before it came out, and that was a busy period because that was the end of my semester, so I had a shit ton of work to do, and I didn't have time to finish it. And I understand I'm on THQ's time. They sent me the game. If they say, review it, or let us know if you can't and you're going to take some time, that's fair enough, but look, I'll smash it out. And I did it. And, I'm pretty confident that nothing's going to change. I think that's perfectly alright if you play put a lot of time into something, you can understand the game and all that stuff, and then you can review it based on that. But I thought I'd make this video just to tell you guys how I kind of work and what kind of annoys me when people review video games. So yeah. So tell me what you think. Until next time, I'm out. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Au revoir.